NASA administrator caught lying about the Challenger's space shuttle. Now, this is a mad one today. Today, we're going back in time. We're going to look at some very rare footage from the Challenger space shuttle 9 months before it blew up. Like I said, it involves a NASA administrator who at the time was an astronaut. The guy on our screen is Frederick Gregory. Frederick, like I said, went on from NASA astronaut to become administrator of NASA. Problem is, the footage we're going to see where Frederick's narrating his first ever journey in the space shuttle, where he was a rookie pilot. Like I said, the problem is the narration gives the game away big time. So this is the clip in question. Like I said, Frederick's going to be the main narrator. The clip's about 3 minutes long, so I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to come in at the end. So this is the ideal opportunity for you guys to watch this and see if you can spot the problems yourself. I'll come in at the end and I'll highlight it. And like I say, let's see if you can spot it.
Our crew patch was designed by the daughter of one of our crew members, Carol Lind, John Lind's daughter. Did an excellent job. We were very pleased with it. While Challenger waited out on the pad for us, we were having breakfast. This is the morning breakfast. You notice we carried the motif of the gold and silver team across. The biggest trick about this was eating breakfast with those shirts on and then packing them up and get them on board the shuttle so we could have them on board for our crew picture. Exiting the quarters, we all marched off to the van, gave our usual happy wave, and we're ready to go out to the bird.
Since I was a rookie on board, I was asked to describe the sensation of this liftoff. We had an awful lot of training, a couple of years worth, but nothing fully prepared me for the actual sensation of those main engines starting and then eventually those solids sliding. And I'll tell you, this son of a gun really rattles when it takes off. I kept looking out the window and Bob would say, "Go back to your instruments." So the pilot's job is not to observe, but to monitor and make sure that everything works properly. After we took off, of course, we had a big roll and something very unique in this picture. In this series of shots, we're going right up the eastern coast of the United States. We'll flash back and forth between this outside of the window shot and the orbiter actually from the ground, but I think it was spectacular. We can see the horizon come up. We're right up the eastern coast. I commented to Bob that we have just gone through some clouds. Those clouds we just went through were at 42,000 feet, so you can tell we were really traveling upward. We had a normal throttle back at about 0.8 Mach to maintain our dynamic pressure below our set limit of about 460 feet per second squared, and then we throttled back up to 104%. Now, we continue up the eastern shore. That camera, by the way, was mounted at my right shoulder, looking out the window to my right. That was the Chesapeake Bay. You can see the Chesapeake Bay. Potomac River there, into the Washington area. Delaware Bay, the Sea Isle coming up on Atlantic City to the right of the screen. The next thing you'll see is Long Island. Certainly doesn't take long to get up there at all. There's Long Island coming up on the right side. You can see Manhattan there. We'll go right on out the tip of Long Island. See the northern and southern shores out there, the Hamptons. And the next thing you see is Cape Cod. And all of this is real time. This is how fast we were going. Actually, pretty slow compared to our actual flight when we got up to 190 miles. There's Cape Cod there in Boston.
Thank you very much for that narration. That incredibly damning narration. Let me just bring that back a smidge. In fact, let me just come back to you. 2 seconds. Now, I suspect some of you sussed it because it does seem quite obvious to me. But again, let's watch the clip in question here. I'll let our friend spell it out for you.
See the Chesapeake Bay, Potomac River there, into the Washington area. Delaware Bay, the Sea Isle coming up on Atlantic City to the right of the screen. The next thing you'll see is Long Island. Certainly doesn't take long to get up there at all. There's Long Island coming up on the right side. You can see Manhattan there. We'll go right on out the tip of Long Island. See the northern and southern shores out there, the Hamptons. And the next thing you see is Cape Cod. And all of this is real time. This is how fast we were going.
And that, my dear man, is what I love about this clip, because you've just told us it's real time. We've got the clock counting the seconds here. And we've also, courtesy of good self, got several indicators on the map now. And as a result, we're able to measure your speed, approximately, of course. And here is where the problems begin. So what I've done is find two very obvious places on that footage that we can get a measurement, and then we can get some idea of speed. Those places are Delaware Bay, just to the left of it, left side of Delaware Bay, and of course to the end, the beaches at Cape Cod, okay? And that distance is 344 miles between those 2 points of reference. So we've got that. Okay, to get some idea of time travelled from those 2 points of reference, Delaware Bay to Cape Cod, I put a visual indicator on the screen here, and as you can see, the line is to the left of Delaware Bay. And I'll stop the footage when the visual indicator is on the beaches of Cape Cod. And that'll give us some idea of time, so we better work out the speeds. So let's have a look.
Coming up on Atlantic City to the right of the screen. The next thing you'll see is Long Island. Certainly doesn't take long to get up there at all. There's Long Island coming up on the right side. You can see Manhattan there. We'll go right on out the tip of Long Island. See the northern and southern shores out there, the Hamptons. And the next thing you see is Cape Cod. And all of this is real time. This is how fast we were going. Actually, pretty slow compared to our actual flight when we got up to 190 miles. There's Cape.
Oh, pretty slow compared to when he gets up to 190 miles. Ah, wonderful. So we're at Cape Cod. I just want to get into the middle.
Cod.
There we are. What are we on time scale? 35 seconds. So it took 35 seconds to get from the left-hand side of Delaware Bay to the beaches of Cape Cod, okay? Our friends told us this is real-time footage, and that is where it all goes pear-shaped. So we got a distance of 344 miles between the 2 points of reference. We got our 35-second time as far as how long it took to travel that distance. And as a result now, putting that information into the speed calculator, we can get some idea of how fast the space shuttle was travelling in the footage. And it turns out the space shuttle was travelling at 35,382 miles an hour. That's 18,300 miles an hour faster than the space shuttle can go. Do you see the problem here? So now we've got our speed of 35,000 miles an hour, essentially 18,000 miles an hour faster than the space shuttle can travel. Let's listen to Frederick, the former NASA astronaut and a NASA administrator, totally give the game away here.
That was the Chesapeake Bay. You can see the Chesapeake Bay, Potomac River there, into the Washington area. Delaware Bay, the Sea Isle coming up on Atlantic City to the right of the screen. The next thing you'll see is Long Island. Certainly doesn't take long to get up there at all. There's Long Island coming up on the right side. You can see Manhattan there. We'll go right on out the tip of Long Island. See the northern and southern shores out there, the Hamptons. And the next thing you see is Cape Cod. And all of this is real time. This is how fast we were going. Actually, pretty slow compared to our actual flight when we got up to 190 miles.
I dread to have seen it when you were supposedly up to 190 miles. What would you have been doing then, Frederick? 40,000 miles an hour? Ridiculous. Who thinks Frederick was on the space shuttle? Because he obviously doesn't have any idea of the speeds that relate to the space shuttle. So who thinks he was on it? And of course, then that leads on to the Challenger conspiracy, where people claim that a lot of the astronauts who were supposedly on that Challenger when it blew up are still alive today, and that no one gets on those rockets anyway. And based on Frederick Gregory's narration here, and the actual speeds we measured, it would seem Frederick doesn't have a Scooby-Doo as regards the actual speed his space shuttle was travelling at when he was supposedly sat in it. And if he was sat in it doing those speeds, I think 18,000 miles an hour over its top speed, I think that might have been a bit of a problem, lads. So like I said, who thinks Frederick was sat in that Challenger? Because it certainly doesn't seem that way, does it? Again, I'm not making any claims other than highlighting the footage itself highlights the fraud.